Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a figure-4 trap. Alright, the figure-4 trap consists of 3 components. Alright, the support stick, the angle stick or fulcrum stick, and the bait stick. Alright, and of course your deadfall. Alright, so it's relatively simple to make. You just need a sharp object like a stone tool or a knife and a relatively straight knot-free stick, and you can create a figure-4 deadfall trap. Okay, we're gonna make I'm gonna show you how to make a basic figure-4 trap and how to put it together, how to set it up. Essentially, the basic figure-4 trap consists of 3 parts. You have your support stick, you have your fulcrum or angle stick, and you have your bait stick. Okay, it pretty much goes together like so. The weight, your deadfall, your rock or your log or whichever, is going to rest on your fulcrum stick here, and it's the end has a lip that sets into a notch on the bait stick. The weight of the deadfall holds the whole mechanism together. It's called a machine trap. What happens is on the bait stick, if the bait stick is in the trail of an animal or a known trail of an animal, or they're after the food that you baited the trap with, they go ahead and touch it and the whole thing falls apart. Okay, so it's a real simple trap. It's easy to make. You just need some relatively straight sticks and a cutting tool. Okay, here I've just got a frost knife here, and for speed I'm going to use a pair of snips. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put one together right now. Alright, so I have a relatively straight stick. It's fairly big. I got it pretty big for demo purposes. I'm going to go ahead and make the bottom here even. It was I cut it at an angle when I harvested this at the beginning of the summer here, or spring rather. Okay, so we cut that off there. And then what I want is my support stick. I'm going to start with my support stick. I want my support stick approximately hand length and maybe a finger digit tall. Okay, and these are just approximations. You can make a figure-4 trap that's small enough to catch a mouse. Obviously you wouldn't want the support stick to be this tall because the mouse would totally see everything coming. So again, depending on your game or what you're after, what you want in a trap, you make your trap to scale according to that. Okay, so actually this ended up being a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut down just a little bit more. Okay, so it's economy of scale, so obviously you don't want something this long if you're trying to catch field mice. All right, so this is going to be the height, more or less the height of where your deadfall is going to rest. Okay, now I'm going to cut the angle stick, which I want approximately the same length as the support stick, and go ahead and chop that down. Okay, alright, and then the last piece is my bait stick. I can have that a little longer. Okay, so I'm going to cut this here. Alright, that cut real nice and easy. Okay, so those are our 3 pieces we're going to start with. They're relatively straight. They don't really have any notches. If I wanted to be real nice and neat about it, I'd take the bark off of this, but we can just do this real quick and dirty. Okay. Alright, so essentially I'm going to start with my my bait stick, or excuse me, my support stick. And what I want to do is I want to make a wedge. Okay? I want to make a wedge. Alright, so all I have to do here is take my sharp knife here, and I'm just going to cut down and away like so. Okay, just like that. Okay. Like so. Okay, so it wants to twist on me, and that's okay. I'm going to start on the other side and take my time here for demo purposes. Okay. Okay, so just took a little time here to get this to dial this in. Okay, and essentially this is what I have here. Okay, I just have a wedge shape on this end, on one end. Okay, and I kind of like the tip here. I like it nice and flat, and I could take this, but this table has a vinyl top on here, so I'm not going to cut down here. I'm going to go ahead and use my snips here, again for demo purposes. If you have snips out in the wilderness, I don't know. You're obviously not just there camping, I suppose. Anyways, this is the support stick, or the start of the support stick. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this in a second. So we set this aside. The next piece that I want to create is the fulcrum, or the angle stick. Okay, so this is going to, essentially, I want this to rock up and down and hold. I want it to hold and rock up and down on the support stick. Okay, this is where the weight will be, which applies this motion. Okay, so yeah, I think probably about my thumb digit from the tip here. I'm not going to be specific about how far away and how many inches and this and that and the other thing. I implore you to go ahead and do your own research on that. So I'm going to create a notch, and what I do is I cut downward. I saw downward. A serrated blade would be perfect for this. Okay, so I cut down, and then I want to cut to the notch here. Okay, so I'm cutting into the notch like so. Alright, so into my slit. I take this, cut inward. So it stops. So it stops right at the the slit that I created. Okay. Okay, now when you start to get these little shavings here, go ahead and cut downward. It's very important that the lip is at a 90-degree angle. Very important that this has to be 90-degree angle, debris free, and flat. Okay. And it's very important to have a nice sharp knife too. Okay, a sharp knife is a safe knife. Okay, so I've got some more shavings here. I'm going to cut down to get deeper. Like so. Okay. So essentially, this is the notch I've created here. Okay, if you can see that. Alright. Maybe profile there. Okay, so that's essentially the notch. Okay. Okay, so now what I want to be sure is that it catches. Okay, so again, this is the fulcrum, okay, or the support from the support stick, but it also holds, it also catches. That's the purpose for the notch. All right. Now, the next part to the angle stick is looking down the stick itself. I want to create another wedge, but it has to be in line with our notch here. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I look down. Okay, if you can see, you have to look down to see the wedge. Okay, here, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is in line. If it's off or angle, it's going to give me problems when I try to set the trap up later. Okay, so little trick I'm going to do for that is I look down and I take the plane of my blade, the flat of my blade, and I just kind of align it, give little tick marks at the end of it. Okay, be very careful not to cut yourself. Okay, but just little tick marks. That gives me a guide as to where I should be cutting. Okay, where I should be shaving. Okay, so from here, I find my tick marks, and I just start off small, and I start catching away. Okay. Okay. Essentially, I got this all wedged out. Okay, so there's a wedge that's on the same plane as the notch that we created earlier. Okay, so it goes along like that. Okay, very important. All right, so this is your angle stick. We'll go ahead and test it, and there we go. Okay, so again, the weight rests on here, which pops this up. So now we have to create our bait stick. All right.